and this is Because Liberty with Curtis Hart, and we've got Chris Bornstead and
Hello.
Redbeard over here. And this is Cowlitz County's pirate internet radio show. I am a staunch libertarian, and I'm doing this pretty much because of the activism
people ask
that I am
what
doing.
the message was in Morse code. Maybe you could tell.
I do know what the message is in Morse code, and there's going to be a new message every week, and you'll have to figure out what Morse code is if you want to know what the message is.
Tune in now with your decoder
Go
ring.
ahead and next week I'll play the same message for you guys next week, and you can just figure it out next week.
Like, seriously, you're gonna have to market a decoder ring with this stuff.
It's
I know it's just plain Morse code, but seriously.
There's this Morse Coast app on
So
generator.
this is our first ever show, so please be patient with us because we've never done this before.
You got Because Liberty code.
Because
because Liberty. So my name is Curtis Hart, and I am a libertarian.
My name is Chris Bornstead. I'm a libertarian.
My name's David Tedder, and I'm an alcoholic. I mean, pirate.
You're a pirate. And so I am chairman of the Cowlitz County Libertarian Party, and I started this little thing called the Cowlitz Liberty Coalition, and we do some activist work here in Cowlitz County, specifically in Kelso, because that's where we happen to all live. But
Except for Dave, I think Dave lives
Dave
in Longview.
lives in Longview.
Yeah, Dave lives in Longview. We let
He's
him come
not
over tonight.
specifically in the Libertarian Party like we are. And so, first of all, what is a libertarian? The libertarian's message is that nobody owns you and nobody owes you. As long as you don't impede on anybody other's right. You say we're down?
Yeah, just talking.
Yeah, I'm just going to assume we're going. Okay. Don't fucking say that again, man.
Cut off, man.
Nobody owes you, nobody owns you. As long as you're not impeding on anybody's right, you should be able to do pretty much whatever you want, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't really see the state as a victim in pretty much any crime that the state might claim to be the victim in, such as speeding, or if they got down in Oregon, collecting rainwater is a crime because the state claims that they own the rain. And so, as a libertarian, I don't believe that victimless crime should be prosecuted, and any of our tax money should be stolen from us and given to prosecute anybody for victimless crime. So that's all. That's me. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing pretty good. My name is Chris Bornstead. I am vice chairman of the Cowlitz County Libertarian Party.
And we're back.
Curtis talked for like, I don't know, probably 3 hours straight on the megaphone reading police reports. Absolutely incredible. Never seen somebody talk so long.
I talked for 2.5 hours straight is what it was.
It was longer.
I talked until my diaphragm gave out and I fucking started cramping up.
Nice.
I couldn't holler anymore. And even though you got a megaphone, you still have to holler into that thing. Did you realize that?
Yes. You still got to scream.
Yeah.
Okay, so, can you hear me now? Mommy, can I have some chocolate?
So, Red, tell us about you. What's up
Me.
with you? Tell us your story. We got 2 hours to fill.
Oh, okay, well, this one time at band camp, you see, now here's the funny thing about this story. I didn't go to band camp, but these girls did that, you know, when I was in high school, I knew, oh wait, I can't tell this story. So we're going to have to tell something else.
Why don't you tell us about the station that you used to have?
The station that I used to have that I'm rebirthing?
Yes, that when KRAP was an FM station.
Yeah, actually, it's currently crowning out of the sphincter at the moment.
And how the government fucked you out of your dream.
The man didn't just fuck me out of my dream. The man came and said if I said the word anymore on air, that I'd actually have to censor myself. So when I want to express myself, and I want to go off and say, oh, damn, I sound like I have Tourette's. And it's horrible, because I cuss like a sailor. And so now I'm walking around town all the time like, I don't get any brownie points for it, because it kind of makes me look like a crazy man. But what happened was, about 4 or 5 years ago or so, about the time KUFO went down.
Yeah, that was such a loss.
Yeah, it was such a loss. It was such a loss that I decided...
I mean...
I didn't feel that it was such a loss. Fuck KUFO, that's my...
You didn't like the half of the music that sucked, but you
No, I didn't
loved the
like
half of
specifically the
music
DJs
that-
were dicks.
They were.
Yeah.
They sucked very much
It was
vagina.
the music, you guys, that was important.
And they're no, and the music, like, they claimed to be rock, and they hardly played rock. They played this, like, wiener rock. It just sucks.
Limp Bizkit? Yeah. So when they died, and they stopped playing the Tool and the Alice in Chains, and the Rage Against the Machine, and the Pantera, and the Slayer, and the Slipknot, when that stopped being something that was available on air, I got butthurt, and because I worked at radio stations previously, I had knowledge on how to make this stuff come about and happen. So I went and I bought myself a transmitter, I got an antenna, I made sure that everything would work, hooked it up to my laptop, ripped off a bunch of music, just tons, like 60,000 songs. If you want it, I probably got it, and in Spanish. And in Spanish. So I put it all together, started piecing it together, and I started broadcasting. First, I started with a 15-watt transmitter, kept it local. Everybody loved it. Everybody thought it was awesome. I didn't have one complaint.
That's because it was awesome.
It was
It was totally awesome.
I named it KRAP because it was supposed to be ironic, you know. The only thing that was on air was KRAP. And 2.5 years into it, FCC comes up, says, well, you can't be doing this, you don't have a license, somebody's complaining. Turns out it was Bicoastal Media, because my little 15-watt station was getting more listeners than their little 800 to 2,000 watt station, 8,000 watt station, whatever it is.
Hey, that's bicoastal media for you. That's called statism. What statism is when somebody feels that the government should have control over your life, your liberties, and when corporations use statism to get laws passed and have the government pool that they have come down and shit all over the man that's trying to just build up something from the ground, and they're like, oh my goodness, no, this guy's over here just doing things on his own.
Yeah, mind you,
stealing like all of our listeners because the music's way better.
Well, yeah. I was playing everything that was good from KUFO, leaving out all of the crap,
It's kind of like fascism.
Leaving out all the bullshit, leaving out all the political stuff, unless I wanted to get political, and when I did, oh God. It was time to riot, grab your torches and pitchforks, folks, because we're going on an adventure. Yeah, but then, yeah, they came to the door and they were like, nope, you guys got to shut it down. So we shut down. We got told that we could only do an online venue. So off and on, we just kept pursuing it.
And then what happened? Tell us what happened with the feds. You gotta fucking get to that.
I got a letter.
You gotta get to the part where the feds came and fucked you.
Okay, well, I got a letter hand-delivered to me by Officer, I can't pronounce his last name because he didn't even speak English. He was Chinese. He was a federal agent that didn't speak a word of English.
So, basically, we're going to take it to the free market internet then, and just do whatever we want.
And that's what the idea
Liberty.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, liberty, free, you know, be able to say what you want.
To say we can do whatever we want.
The FCC pretty much owns the internet now because what's that?
They just passed a
They
bill.
just passed that shit and they run the show now. So
Well,
I'm sure they're
everybody
gonna try to make
wasn't
stuff
looking.
like this illegal or give us some kind of stupid domain.
They'll tax you on your domain name or any revenue or amount of listeners that you have.
It's coming. Mark my words. It's
Oh
coming.
yeah. Oh yeah. They don't want anything to be free. Remember, you guys remember when internet used to not cost you a damn thing?
No.
I don't know.
You don't remember when internet was free? How old are you?
I'm 41.
How old are you?
42.
35.
Okay, I'm 36. Remember Net Zero? Remember Juno? You remember when internet used to plug into your phone?
Yeah, you can get that. You could get the free crappy internet. Yeah, you're right.
When, yeah,
It was
but
full of advertisements. Somebody was paying for it.
yes, somebody was paying for it. But I mean, still, you could
Corporations
access
were
it for free. You don't have that kind of luxury.
Yeah, that shit doesn't happen now.
You don't have that. You can't plug shit into your phone. Oh, look, free internet. Nope, it's not gonna happen. Everybody wants money. Everybody's getting greedy. Everybody wants a little more of that green. Pass it this way.
And so, pretty much, The FCC, was it the FCC? Was that who the Fed agency that showed up with some local?
Yeah, guy's first name was Ben. I couldn't pronounce his last name. He was a decent guy. He was nice. So what happened? They came to the door and they knocked. And the deal is, if you get caught with that stuff hooked up to any of your equipment, when that transmitter is hooked to any of your equipment, that first knock, they can take all of your stuff that's hooked to that transmitter. They can take it all, make it go bye-bye. Look, we don't have no problem, have a nice day. So, knowing that, I decided to unhook the transmitter. I handed them. Okay.
Somebody said
Fucker
something
sound
about
diffusers,
phone sound diffusers.
Yeah.
Just take notes if it doesn't like. We don't
So-
want to pair the conversation because the sound diffusers.
Yeah. Off track, all because of the sound diffusers.
Look, it's hot as shit in here.
Yeah, it is.
Warm. It is a warm one out there.
So the FCC, knowing that they were going to take all of my stuff, I unhooked the transmitter, unhooked it from the antenna, unhooked it from all the computer stuff, and it's just, all this stuff, this equipment. And I don't want to take it. I've put way too much money into it. So I unhooked the transmitter. I take the little transmitter unit outside, the half-assed broken one that I started using at first. And he takes some pictures of it, and he's like, can I come in? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I need to see that. I'm like, no, you need to see the transmitter. That's what the law states. You need to see the transmitter. It's in my hand, which means you've seen what you need to see. It's not hooked up to anything. You don't need it. Well, I need to take... No, you don't. And I look at the office there, and I'm like, I already know what you guys are going to do. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
That's why I have a website, and why I'm out in the open about what I'm doing. You have to slap me on the wrist first. Then you can take all my shit and put me and pound me in the ass penitentiary. But I got to get that first slap on the wrist. So I got my first slap on the wrist, and now they're like, well, no more radio for you. Little do they know. Internet. Because liberty.
And that's exactly it. That's the reason why we call this show Because Liberty. The reason I decided to call this show Because Liberty is, for one thing, I use that on my Twitter. I use that hashtag all the time. When I got involved with the Libertarian Party of Washington, I met a guy named Michael Pickens, who at the time was the executive director of the state party. And through this thing that he has called Libertarian Leadership, he was coaching me and wanted me to write down the reasons why I was getting involved in local politics and state politics and libertarian in general. And this bunch of crap that nobody wants to read, and I eventually shortened that down to 2 words, and that was Because Liberty. And so that's where that came from. How did you find the Libertarian Party, Chris?
Well, a few years ago, I decided to, the Washington State legalized recreational marijuana. And so I'd been hearing about medical cannabis and the wonders of its use. And so I decided to go through all the hoops to talk to my doctor and then go find a doctor that prescribed it for me. So as soon as I got my prescription, I went home and I started hearing talk of the Liquor Control Board putting out regulations on medical marijuana, something that wasn't supposed to happen with the passage of 502. So when I looked at what they were doing and what the Liquor Control Board was doing a couple of years ago, I saw the end for medical cannabis right then and there. And so I started to go up to Olympia and met some folks up there and started talking with lawmakers, and I started seeing how ugly things can get up in Olympia, on the Democratic and Republican side. I'm going through PDFs for a lot of the candidates and noticing they all take the same kind of money, but yet fight each other, and found it kind of interesting that they can take the same kind of money, and be all, work against each other. It's just crazy. But I feel that it was really corrupt. And then I started running into these guys that were calling themselves libertarians. And after listening to these guys, they believed in liberty for everyone, no restrictions on anyone, the way it's supposed to be.
As long as you're not impeding on somebody else's
Right,
rights,
you know,
that part's important.
you know, when we say liberty, we mean liberty for everyone, not just, you know, a certain group.
Not just for most.
So,
Yeah, the Gadsden hat and the flag that says "Don't tread
Right.
on me" should really read "Don't tread on anybody."
right. And the guy that really introduced me to the Libertarian Party was C. Michael Pickens. He has a lot of energy, and he has a big plan for our state for the Libertarians. Libertarians tend to be younger, so well, not necessarily younger, but we want to get some younger people involved in the Libertarian Party, and you know, that's what I'm doing.
I ended up finding the Libertarian Party because, well, I couldn't vote for Obama again. I voted for him the first time. I can admit that just because. And we can talk about that later. But I couldn't vote for him again because I was actually anti-war. And once you realize that you're just playing this ridiculous two-party game, is that Mike Pickens on the line? That is our guest, Michael Pickens, more than likely. Go ahead and answer that.
Radioactive Rock, you're on the air.
Hey, how's it going? It's Michael Pickens.
Hey,
Hey, Michael.
so we have our guest. His name is C. Michael Pickens, and he is the former chairman of the Libertarian Party of Washington State. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys?
Excellent. We got things working, so that's always nice when everything's set up and it's working on the first show. It's just, we got a mic stand up here.
Your first show should be a shit show. It's all good.
We got a mic stand made out of a sledgehammer and a old light clamp, so that's how that's going down.
They can hear Michael. All right, so we know that everybody can hear Michael. Glad to have you on the show. How's things going? Oh yeah, I realized that. I'm behind.
You still in the 20
I'm still on the delay.
So yeah, Chris is listening to the show and he's on a delay, so he might not make any sense sometimes. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you from? Why'd you end up moving to Washington? Because you're not from Washington.
Yeah, so I moved to Washington for business. I had a property management company in Seattle, one in Sacramento. I'd go back and forth. I love the weather up here, and I got involved with the Libertarian Party in the 2012 Gary Johnson campaign. So, and the main reason is because the state legislative districts here in Washington State are much smaller than California. California is 500,000 people per district. Washington State's 136,000. When I say people, that's population. So it's much easier to get someone elected here in Washington State versus California for the state legislature. Not only that, but we have top two here in Washington, just like in California as well, but better than every other state.
Why don't you tell us what Prop 2 is, or Top 2 is, for people that don't know?
Yeah, top two is election law. Basically states that only the top two vote getters from the primary will move on to the general election. And the benefits of that are that only half of the people who show up in the general election will show up in the primary. So we have a lower voter turnout to compete with, and we only have to get second place to move on. So versus having to get first place in the general election to win. We get second place in the primary, then we get to move on to the general election, fight it out with whatever, the Republican or Democrat that moves forward is in.
Okay, so how did you find the Libertarian Party and libertarianism in general?
Well, I found libertarianism back in 2007. I was with my dad at his house, and we were watching the first Fox News debate, and there was someone on stage who was talking about how the terrorists don't hate us because we're free and prosperous. They hate us because we've been over there meddling in their business and bombing them since 1953, and this person, as you know, is Ron Paul. So that's how I learned about it, because they called him a libertarian in the debate. So I did a lot of research on Google, learning about libertarianism, and once you do the research and you find out that it is the most moral political philosophy in existence, you have no other choice, right? Force and fraud are banned in libertarianism. anyone else.
So, how would you define libertarianism in general?
Okay, so when you break it down, it's like the word libertarian means believer in liberty, right? Liber is ancient Roman for liberty or freedom. Tarian is believer in. And what liberty is, it's the absence of outside control or oppression over our lives as long as we're not infringing on the person, property, or rights of another. That's how I would define it. Basically, I'm going to leave you alone, Curtis. Me alone. As long as you don't infringe on anyone else's rights, I've got no problem with you. As long as I don't infringe on anyone else's rights, you got no problem with me. Life is good.
Excellent. So at what point did you write Libertarian Leadership, and tell us about that?
Oh, okay. So my first book, Libertarian Leadership, I had experience in sales and in business, and I thought, you know what? I could take this experience into the Libertarian Party, which I did in 2011 when I first came on board down in California as Northern Vice Chairman. And I could take all these ideas and put them in a book and relate them to political organizing. Now, I've never written a book before, barely graduated high school. I was one of those kids that I could do well if I wanted to do well, but it wasn't challenging. There was no way I was going to use algebra later in life, right? So I always challenged the school system when I was even, third grade. So I decided, okay, I want to write this book. I've got some good information, these strategies that I want to test out. I don't know if they're going to work, but I want to test them out. I want to try them out. So I wrote this book, and I went on Google, and I typed in how to write a book.
How to write a book.
I've never written a book before. So I typed in how to write a book, and there's actually instructions on Google on how to write a book. So basically, I just had the desire to do it, looked up the instructions, followed the instructions, and I came out with the book. Done.
So, what is the title and release date of your second book?
What was that?
What's the title and release date of your second book?
So, the second book is called Libertarian Lion, and I'm hoping it's set to come out on July 24th, which is my birthday, which will be 2 years after my first book came out. And the reason why I titled it Libertarian Lion, because I feel that there's a couple different types of libertarians. There's probably many different types of libertarians, but a couple as far as political activists. There's the porcupine, which most people who are in the Libertarian Party for a while know that the porcupine is generally known as the animal mascot for the Libertarian Party. Porcupines are very defensive creatures, right? They got the spikes sticking out their back. They can defend their territory, but they can't really take over new territory. They're a defensive creature. And I look at the lion as a lion that is an animal that is proactive. They're offensive, right? We can go take back territory that's been stolen from us. We can take back the liberties that have been stolen from us, and there's been many liberties stolen from us, and we see it on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure we're going to talk about that later. I look at that, and we have to be proactive. We got to challenge the status quo. We got to run initiatives. We got to run candidates. We got to be in the faces of the legislators, in the faces of the media, in the faces of the voters. We got to talk about what we're doing. Basically, we got to be proactive. Now, we don't use the word lion as, hey, I'm going to bite your face off, or aggressive type, lion. More like, I don't know, the Chronicles of Narnia, right? Aslan.
Yeah.
That's the type of lion we're talking about. Protecting the people.
Okay, so tell us about your work with the LPWA as the executive director and your firing and the 2014 convention. Tell us about that. That was exciting.
Okay, so I came on board as a volunteer executive director. I did have a contract basically saying that I make a percentage of all the money that I raise for the party. And I had this strategy that I outlined in my book, Libertarian Leadership. And I was moving forward with this strategy. It was outlined in my book. We got to run candidates. We got to run candidates. We got to run candidates, right? Told from the current leadership that I needed to stop recruiting candidates, that we don't have wanted to go with the party. Now, as a volunteer executive director, well, let me take a step back. In my business life, in my professional life, I don't like to have a boss. I haven't had a boss in 10 years. I don't like being told what to do. Now, I've got my own ideas, and I believe, as a libertarian, that we should all be able to be creative and go out and test new ideas, right? We should experiment. We should innovate. That's what business does.
Yeah.
They test, they innovate.
Yeah.
Right? Well, when someone starts putting roadblocks in the way, I don't like that. And I don't think anyone should put roadblocks in anyone else's way. And Curtis, you know firsthand, in the past when you've asked, hey, can I do this? I'm like, you don't need to ask me to do that. You should just do that and see if it works.
Yeah,
And when you
exactly.
act-
Every time I asked permission to do something, you guys told me to quit asking permission.
Yeah.
Specifically, I was told, you don't need fucking permission.
Yeah, dude, just go do it. And you've done that. Look at you, man. You've cleaned up graffiti. You're out there feeding the homeless. You're doing the things you feel are the right things. Right? If we ask permission, I'm like, just go do it. Because I don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. We need to go out there and test ideas and create an environment where people have the opportunity to go out and test their ideas, to encourage, to motivate, to inspire. Because libertarianism, to me, it's a very positive political philosophy. It's all about opportunity. It's all about freeing them up to play for ideas. As long as those ideas and what you're doing don't infringe on the person's property rights of another.
So then what happened?
Okay, yeah. So the firing, right? So I was executive director a month before the convention in 2014, and I was upset. I was pretty pissed off. And I remember a phrase someone told me that the solution to pollution is dilution. Right? So what I did is I drove around the state. Well, I was driving around the state before, meeting with candidates, but I did 7 different workshops around the state and talked to people and basically recruited them to come to the convention and replace the leadership. And that's exactly what we did. We had a majority at the convention. We took the leadership terms from 2 years down to 1 year, and that caused votes for new leadership. So I became the chairman. I didn't want to be the chairman. I served 1 year as chairman and graciously handed that banner off to Stephen Nielsen. But I did what I felt that needed to be done to where people could thrive in an organization, in all organizations. Because think about it, man. We have to take over. Not take over, but we have to make an impact. And the only way we can impact is to get candidates elected. And the only way we can get it elected is if we have a thriving organization, if we have a thriving activist base. And you can't have a thriving activist base if you're trying to control them from the top down. If you're telling people that they can't try their new idea that's never been tried before. That's the whole point of trying new ideas, is that it might work. And if it works, we'll be better off. Because guess what? The Libertarian Party's been around since 1971. The shit they've been doing hasn't been working. We need to try new things.
Michael.
Exactly.
Michael, how can people get involved?
How can people get involved? Oh, they can get involved by going to lpwa.org, filling out the contact form or the volunteer form. Definitely donate. All the money that we collect goes down to the regions. LPWA is definitely the best resource.
Maybe how can we get more involved at our local levels?
So when they go to lpwa.org and they fill out the volunteer form, they're going to have to put, the city that they live in, right? And then once they fill that out, then their information will go to someone on the local level. We'll contact them. And then, or, you know what? The best way to get involved, like Curtis is and Chris, the way you did it is you just start doing stuff. That's the best way. Just start doing stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait on anyone else from a website to tell you what to do. You just need to do things, right? Go out in the community, help out the community. And this is the thing, if there isn't anyone else in your area, we can give you a list of people that you can contact and say, hey, I want to start doing stuff. Would you like to do stuff with me? And the cool thing about action, when you take action, it creates emotion, and
for you conspiracy people out there, 2 black helicopters just in fact
Those are
did
black.
fly
Those
over.
are totally tan.
Well, whatever.
Dude, they're baby shit brown.
Anyway, they just directly flew over the house. They were heading south.
They always fly formations house. This is the way they go.
They're just doing their DEA sweep.
Hey,
They got to
it's
hit
a Calhoun
felony.
County thing. Everybody always posts when we
Yeah,
have
they
black
do.
helicopter sightings,
Yeah.
so we got to keep
But it's
it real.
not those though. That's regular shit right there.
And they're just abducting meth heads. It's okay, guys. Just relax.
Hey, okay, you're talking about black helicopters, right?
Right.
If we had enough people and we pooled our money, we could have our own black helicopter, guys.
I'm looking forward to my own drone. I definitely want a drone.
Now,
A drone to follow the drones from the government, right?
Yes. They're going to watch me, I will watch them.
talk about our candidates from last year a little bit.
So, one of my big things as executive director and, I was elected state chairman was to run candidates. We had 12 candidates from around the state. One of my requirements for supporting them is that they would run for office a minimum of 3 times. And the reason why a minimum of 3 times is because the first time you run for office, you're just learning the ropes. You're building your website. You're building your foundation, right? So your website, the thing, the second time you run for office, the only thing really you have to change on your website is the year you're running. You already have that done. You've already built a candidate support base. You got donors. You've got volunteers. The next time you run, you're building on that. And that's when you're looking to win. The second time, the third time, fourth time, fifth time. We have a libertarian candidate down in California, Susan Marie Weber. She ran for Palm Desert City Council, and she was elected her 4th time running. Right? Elected her 4th time running. And think about that. So these guys up here in 2014, you look at our numbers, they were amazing compared to the rest of the country. 8 of our candidates made it to the top 2 primary, and 4 of them got over 30% of the vote. The majority of the rest of them were in the 20%. Well, let me ask you a question. What do you think they're going to get next time they run?
Dave Steenson, the candidate that ran here, the people in Longview would have seen on their ballot, ran in the 19th district. Is that what it is over there? The 20th?
Yep.
Anyways, he won. He got over 50% of the vote in the county just up north.
Lewis County.
Up in Lewis County. So
Lewis County is ready for some change. Representative
Apparently.
Orcutt is the representative up in that area. If you know
That's
anything
awesome. What do you think he's I think Dave got the highest percentage out of all of our candidates. He got like 33% of the vote. What
Absolutely
do you think he's going to get next time you run?
Yeah, what's going on up in Lewis County? I mean, it must be probably property rights, I would imagine. That's real big around our area, private property rights.
tell us a little bit about
What do you think more?
the purge of the neocons and the direction that you took the LPWA and how you feel about the state you left it in.
What did you say, the purging of the neocons?
Yeah.
Okay, so the neocons, for listeners who don't know what neocons are neoconservatives. Basically, they are Republicans who they kind of infiltrated our party a little bit, right? They wanted us to protect certain Republicans in certain districts, which is fine, that's a prerogative. But they were also the guys that kind of triggered this whole, hey, let's purge the party, or let's elect new leadership that want to move us forward. And the reason why I did that is because I want to run libertarian candidates in every district. I don't want to protect certain people, certain representatives. I want to run libertarian candidates in every district. The surprising thing is that I agree a lot with Democrats and I agree a lot with Republicans on certain issues, on every issue that has to do with liberty. Right? We agree.
Exactly.
We agree a little bit with the Democrats, a little bit with the Republicans. So I don't want to protect certain Republicans because they're more fiscally responsible or whatever it is. So that's one of my motivations for doing that.
Now, I personally feel that it's not conducive to a free society to grovel to an authoritarian and ask them to vote a certain way. The best way to ensure freedom and liberty is to be the man. And to be the man, you have to run candidates.
By the way, Michael, I want to let you know that we have 3 Libertarian candidates on the ballot running at local elections this year. And we have
I heard Curtis Hart, right?
Right.
Running for Fire District.
Yeah. Then we have
Rob Gibbs, School Board.
Yeah. Right.
41.
Yeah, he's running unopposed, so we have a Libertarian on the school board. And then we have Kelborn Kuntz, who's also running for city council. And,
Fantastic.
Yeah, we would
Yeah, you guys are rocking up there, or down there, where I'm at. But yeah, you guys are rocking.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, man. This is what happens, dude. Motion creates emotion. The actions Chris has taken off, Chris, taken off, you've inspired other people to do the same thing. Take action. Hey, you know what? It's time we step up and take back our government. Because if they say this is the government of the people, by the people, for the people, well then, why don't the people rise up? Because if you look at the voter turnout, we have 34% voter turnout in 2014. Come on, man. 34% out of 70% registered to vote. That is a minority that is controlling the majority right now, if you look at it.
It takes like what, like 13% to win?
Go ahead.
It takes like what, like 13% of the population, the actual population, to win an election? After you take the people that are registered to vote, the people that end up voting, and then the people that end up winning that specific election. I mean, just breaking it down by 50% ends up being like 12.5%. It's like 1 out of 10 or more. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 people.
That makes me think about my strategy for growing the Libertarian Party. So the problem that we've had in the past, and if you actually read Libertarian leadership, you're going to read the wrong strategy as far as what I'm about to say, is that we need to pull Republicans and Democrats, registered voters, over into our party. And I realize that that's such a difficult thing. Even though I came from the Republican Party, we still need to do that. I agree. But we've had so much more success going after non-voters, apathetic voters, people who've given up on the system. If we go after those people, the ones who are like, hey, I know something is wrong, I don't know what to do though, and I don't vote. If we talk to those people, bring them on board, we'll have so much more success. And there's actually, I corrected that chapter in my new book that's coming out.
So, Adam Kokesh, tell us about the Adam Kokesh tour and him.
Okay, so we had planned an Adam Kokesh tour for Washington State. He was going to stop by all 7 regions in this tour. It was going to cost $5,000 to do that. And what happened was I started a new business and I didn't have the money to cover it. I couldn't raise the funds to cover it. So he got pissed. So we scheduled it. It didn't happen. It was a month before. I was like, look, man, it's not going to happen. He got pissed, posted on Facebook. But the good thing is I've talked to him on the phone since then. We're still going to do a Washington State tour very soon, within the next year. So Adam Kokesh is cool. I'm cool with Adam Kokesh. We're still going to move forward with that.
Okay, that's fair enough. What are your plans? What are your plans now? And what is your current role in the LPWA?
So current plans now is to focus. You're going to find this funny. Focus on the local level and then focus on the national level. So the past couple of months, I've spoken to the Libertarian Party of Colorado, Ohio, and Michigan conventions. The workshops that I gave here in Washington, the 7 workshops before I became chairman, I broke those down into shorter versions, and I gave those workshops at the other state conventions. And I'll be back there in those states August and September to do those. But to focus on personal development and growth, getting people to understand that you can do whatever you choose to do, and the instructions to do it are online, right? You can be empowered. If you have an idea, just go do it. Just start it. You may not know every aspect. You may not know the how, but you definitely know the why. My why is that I have an 8-year-old son. I look at my future as being threatened. Crap. My girlfriend, we tried to get her a visa to come over here, got denied. Right?
Thanks,
I had
government.
2 bank accounts shut. Go ahead.
I said thanks, government.
Thanks, government. Yes, exactly. within the legal cannabis industry. Legal. I've had a few bank accounts shut down. And not only that, but hey, do you want to have a business? Would you like to have a business? You need to pay the government to have a business. See, the problem that I see is I already have the right to start a business. The government has stolen that right from me and now is charging me extortion money to be able to do this. As long as I don't infringe on anyone else's rights, I should be able to start this business. But the government says I need to pay them. It's like the mafia. Really, if you look at the mafia, the way that they operated,
Their business model is exactly the same.
Pay them a percentage every single month. Anyway.
Yeah, it's the exact same business model as the mafia and the government.
And that's what keeps people in poverty. They just keep pulling money from them. Just keep pulling money out of the system. If you look at local communities, okay, let's say 30% of their income goes to pay taxes. Now that tax money goes to Washington, D.C. Does it come back in that community? And most likely it doesn't. The money does not go back to the community. So you're pulling 30% of the income out of that community, that if that money stayed in that community would thrive at a much faster rate than it is right now, whatever community it is.
I've lost where we were. Okay, so what is the Judicial Committee? Because I know that you're on the Judicial Committee in the state party. What is that?
So that's a good question. The Judicial Committee for the Libertarian Party of Washington is kind of like the Supreme Court. Well, it would be the Supreme Court for Washington State. Basically, if leadership, anyone in leadership, did something to infringe on the person or property of another, they would go to the Judicial Committee and say, Judicial Committee, this person in the Executive Committee did this, I need you to investigate. And the Judicial Committee could basically remove anyone in leadership. They had a majority vote, or super majority vote, I don't remember, 2/3, I think.
Okay.
And really, I'm one of the only ones that were at the last convention that was in the party for 3 years or more. And one of the requirements to be on the Judicial Committee is that you had to be in the party for at least 3 years.
Yeah. So
That shows how young our party is in Washington State. Right there.
tell us about your private business a little bit. Like, what is it? How is this pronounced? Is it cannery? Canary? What is that?
Oh, okay, Cannair, the new business that I started.
Okay. Yeah, tell us all about that.
So we had this idea late January. Michelle Darnell, who you may know, came to me and said, hey, we should start a business with CBDs. CBD is a non-psychoactive component to cannabis. And then I took it to the next level and said, hey, well, I like energy drinks, and I like smoking pot in the morning for work, and I like nootropics, and nootropics are supplements that increase brain function. So why don't we combine all this into an energy drink? And that's what we did. So we have a powdered energy drink that's coming out. You basically mix it with water or juice or whatever beverage you want to. Highly don't recommend mixing it with alcohol. Not a good thing. But yeah, we've got this product coming out, actually going into pre-launch here in the next 2 weeks.
You may have to send me some of that, Michael. I might have to try some.
Oh yeah, if you guys want a sample, just let me know.
You can send it to Chris. I can
Yeah, Curtis can't have that. I can't.
I don't do that.
I don't have any authoritarians in my life.
So the CBD that we have in this product is CBD from non-GMO organic industrial hemp. So it's legal in all 50 states. This is a proven product. It's not a nutritional supplement. So it's definitely legal in all 50 states. It's not from the cannabis flower. So even though, yeah, I'm located in Washington and I do have business in the 502 market, this is not part of 502.
And how about you tell us about the protest you and Jacob went to? I don't know anything about that, so you'll tell us everything about it.
Yeah, so it's going to sound bad, but I finally had an opportunity because you see all this police brutality going on from around the country, and unfortunately I'm not in a position where I can fly in to these other states to protest, right? So I found out from Jacob, close friend of his son, his name is Keaton Ferris, 25 years old. He died in Island County Jail for dehydration and malnutrition. So he was arrested for forging a check. I think it was around $360. I don't endorse that whatsoever. But no one should die in jail from dehydration and malnutrition. No one. No way. Especially for $360. Is that what a life is worth? $360?
I mean, really?
No, of course not.
Was this was here in Washington State?
Yeah, this is here in Washington. It's about an hour south from where I'm at right now.
Yeah. You know,
Island County, in right next to Skagit.
Yeah. Our
Skagit
county.
County.
Our county had
That's where we went
about.
out.
Our county had about 3 or 4 deaths last year in our jail.
Yeah, we have a problem at our jail with people dying all the time, pretty much. I mean, as far as people dying in small town jails.
We actually have, I think, a lawsuit going on up in the Tacoma area.
I had a cousin die in that jail.
Yeah, and a friend who died in the jail.
So we definitely have issues down here.
I think the jail really should be turned back over to the sheriff's department instead of whoever the fuck it's with now, because they just got a bunch of people dying. They're going to be lawsuits eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Come back on. There is lawsuits coming. We're going to have to end up paying for that.
Taxpayers will have to pay
Yeah,
for that.
taxpayers. I pay taxes.
The whole prison system needs to be reformed. Like, look at the war on drugs, man. You know, over 50% of the people in prison are there for non-violent drug offenses. That's ridiculous. They didn't hurt anyone else, right? So the whole logic behind the war on drugs is that if the cop arrests you, hey, drugs are going to ruin your life. So I'm going to arrest you and ruin your life by giving you a felony and throwing you in a cage and making sure that you can't get a job later in your life because you are doing drugs. But guess what? Those people need help. If they're doing hard drugs like that and they're ruining their lives, well, we should use the Portugal model. Portugal in 2001 decriminalized all drugs. That doesn't mean they legalized. You can't buy heroin in the drugstore or anything like that, or Rite Aid or Walgreens. Basically, what it said is that if we catch you with drugs, let's say we catch you with some heroin, right? You're going to go to drug court. You're going to get a citation, and in drug court, what they're going to do is they're going to give you 2 options. Either you can go to rehab for 6 weeks, or you can go back out on the street. It's your choice. Do you want to help yourself, or do you want to continue screwing your life up? That's your choice. And what's happened over there is totally amazing. In 10 years, drug use has dropped by 50% in adults and teens. Why? Because they give people the option. They take the stigma away from it, the option to get better, right? To get better and freedom and liberty. You can do that, but we're going to help you if you need help, when you want help. And people have been taking them up on it versus being afraid. Here in America, people are afraid to get help. They're afraid if they get plugged into the rehab system, that the police and the DEA, drug enforcement, they're going to come after them. They're going to throw them in a cage. And that's what happens. We throw people in cages because of it versus helping people.
It's a multi-million, billion, probably, dollar industry in this country. This is locking people up. And,
oh, yeah, man. In California, where I'm from, the #1 political lobby group in California is the Prison Guard Union. People complain about private prisons. Guess what? In California, it's a public prison system, and they're doing the same thing as the private prison because of the Prison Guard Union. Go ahead. Make the private prison a public organization. There's just going to be as much corruption. We've got to change the laws.
Yeah, especially when these private prisons.
We've got to end the drug war. That's how we fix it.
Yeah, they put people in these private prisons, and then they end up having manufacturing jobs inside the private prisons where they pay these guys like pennies a day. Those are pretty much slaves. They get caught with some drugs, and you're into
It's like
the
25
slave
cents an
economy.
hour,
I mean,
yeah.
Well, you
you know,
guys
people
all-
think that like the 13th Amendment like freed all the slaves, but I mean it clearly states neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for a crime.
Yep.
We just had a judge.
I mean,
back east.
except isn't
Yeah.
no slaves.
We
So
just-
slavery's still alive and well in America in the private prison system.
Yeah, I mean, we had a judge that was popped, I think, this last year, back east, for selling kids into the prison system. So, I mean, it's become a racket. It's become a business. There's a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, human trafficking is horrible here.
Yes.
That's something nobody ever talks about. Nobody ever
I
touches
think the Clark County Libertarian Party, and Stephen Pierce specifically, because he brought it up to me, are coming up with a proposal or an initiative to basically end the war on drugs here in Washington State. So you guys should talk to Stephen Pierce, or talk to him and find out who's leading that up. Get them on the line as well for a later episode.
Definitely. So how did that protest go? How many people were there?
What was that?
How many people were at that protest?
There was about 200 people at the protest. And it really opened my eyes to it and realized, like, hey, man, if your friend, if your family member was killed in jail or forging a check, that's ridiculous. It's just totally disgusting. And we need to hold our elected officials accountable. Most people don't realize that local police, county jail, they're controlled by their local political jurisdictions. The police, all the ordinances that they follow are instituted by the city council. The sheriff, all the ordinances that they follow, all the rest they make, are implemented by at the county level, the county councilors. Right? So we take over the city council, we take over the county council, we can say, hey, officers, you're no longer going to give tickets for victimless crimes. You're going to help people. You're going to serve people. That's what you're going to do. But right now, the government, local, county, state, they're looking at revenue generation. And the only way we can end that is through the political process. Well, there's another way. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But the way that I see that we have to end that is through the political process. We've got to get people elected to city council. We've got to raise awareness so our people can get elected to city council, so we can stop the corruption and stop the bullshit that's happening. Because these city council members, most of them, if you look at it, they live in a nice part of town, right? They have connections, business connections in the community. These are not the average people.
No, I mean, what kind of connections do our, let's say, county commissioners have in this county, Chris? And who tell the people that don't know who our county commissioners are.
Well, our
in this
county
area.
commissioners in Cowlitz County are, oh boy, you got me. Dennis Weber,
Yeah.
Joe Gardner, and Mike Karnofsky. Those are our county commissioners in our area. I can't remember.
What kind of things did they used to do?
I'm confused. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're paying attention to Facebook. What is? How are they connected? Like, what did they used to do before they became?
Oh, Dennis Weber was a teacher. Mike Karnofsky was I believe he worked for Weyerhaeuser.
For Weyerhaeuser. And
Weyerhaeuser is a big company in our area. And I believe Joe Gardner owned a excavation company in the Tutuila, Washington area.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So not to say what
Well,
like
okay.
he does.
Well, the commissioner job is a little bit more important.
Yeah,
So,
that's it.
yeah, those are our county
So you have
commissioners.
3 county commissioners, right?
Yeah, we only got 3. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What does it take to get a majority in the county with 3?
Do you know how many votes?
2 votes.
I know.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just 2 votes.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was talking election-wise.
That's
No,
what I thought.
he's talking change policy. Yeah, 2 votes are hard to get, for some things around here.
Yeah, especially when they don't want to change things and they don't want to take
Yeah,
responsibility.
we are definitely holding our county commissioners accountable right now at this time for something that they got our community into in Kelso. So,
And at least one of them at least recognizes that he's being held accountable, and he will be held accountable come election time. So at least he recognizes that that's a thing.
one of them's not running again, so he doesn't care. That's just what it is. He's on his way out. He can't wait to go. And then we have a brand new commissioner that just came in January. So we have two
He's a
fairly
pretty
new
good guy.
commissioners, and we hope to see some good things from our new commissioner. But we'll see. He needs to stand up to the other two a little bit better.
Well, let me ask you this, Curtis. So recently you had the local police department there in Kelso reach out to you guys for your activism in the community. Is that correct?
Yes.
So the reason why they reached out to you is because they felt that you're starting to gain power within the community.
Well,
That's the reason why they reached out to you, because they want to know what you're doing, and they want to be able to try to control what you're doing or control whatever it is, right? Because they don't want their jobs on the line. They want to continue doing what they're doing.
No, actually,
So the only way that we can...
the way I'm working with the police right now is that I did something on my own, and they really needed that information that I ended up getting on my own, because I basically did a surprise inspection of a local homeless shelter it's a flop house for IV drug addicts and registered sex offenders is what it is.
Basically,
It's
we have...
specifically designed for IV drug addicts and registered sex offenders that are allowed to be like drunk and high at the shelter on taxpayer dime. How much is the money up to now? Is it
They're just given about $600,000.
$600,000 from filing fees? Nice. Thanks, government.
But they have gotten almost $1.5 million of fee or taxpayer citizen money, I guess you could say.
And the place has generated like 200 police reports in like 3 or 4 months, as compared to like before when it was a women's shelter, a battered women's shelter, it had like 11
Yeah.
or something like that. 11 to 200. And there's things going on like sexual assaults, people like straight up running heroin and meth rings out of the building, people ODing out in the street, like literally. We got like police reports that we did a police public records request, because public records requests are fun. That should be a thing on our show, like read public records requests that we do.
Anyway,
let me ask you
Michael,
this. The people who are in there, what was holding them back from moving their life forward? See, the thing when I found out in Spokane when I was out there, they implemented an ordinance. The city of Spokane did. It's a lie down ordinance, basically banning anyone from sitting or lying down on public sidewalks. And I did more research and found out that the majority of homeless people are homeless because of drug offenses. They get charged with a drug offense. They can't get a job after that. They can't move their life forward. So they're basically stuck. They get plugged into this drug war, this whole system that's set up to oppress people. And that's why they're there. And I'm thinking that this is probably the case of that shelter that you're talking about. Is a lot of these guys and women, they can't move out of it. They can't pull themselves out because they're plugged into the system.
Michael, what we have down here
And, you know,
is part of the 10-year plan to end homelessness. It's going on in counties all across the state of Washington. And in this thing, what we have is we have a low-barrier urban rest stop shelter. There are no barriers in place at all. I mean, you could have a needle sticking out of your arm and walk through the door and stay at this place. They'll tell you to take the needle out before you come in, and they can't take it in. But the reason the police came to us is because we have been out in the community talking to the businesses around the shelter. We've been talking to the city council, the Kelso Police Department, the fire department, you know, the churches, the people in the community around the area.
The place itself has such a lack of leadership that it's dangerous to be inside.
Right. I mean,
And what it is, see, this guy went to a city council meeting and told everybody that he was doing great and that they were lowering the crime rate. And then it came to find out that there's all police reports showing up with people being not allowed to report crimes that are being committed against them inside the shelter. And these aren't victimless crimes, like people getting their stuff stolen, people getting assaulted, and the guy wasn't allowing them to report it from his shelter because he wanted to lower the crime rate in the first place.
The shelter
So that's what
disputes
first. Yeah, well, they can, whatever.
You have to say that, but that's coming from people inside the shelter that have said that. The thing is with Curtis going and feeding
So
the folks at the shelter, they talk to him and they tell him the things that are going on inside the shelter.
Well, see, and another thing is at one point he started saying, you know, there's a bunch of families showed up to this low barrier shelter because we have a ton of homeless families in this county. And so he made the claim that there wasn't any sex offenders allowed back in the building. And at one point, you know, he's saying there's no sex offenders allowed in the building because we're allowing kids in there. And what got my attention was the whole part where he's not allowing people to report crimes. That's just such an infringement on people's rights is ridiculous. And so that's what got my attention. That's what got me involved in the first place. So me and my buddy went down there, and I got a scowl on my face, and I acted like I didn't want to give a name. I told them I didn't want to give a name, and they let me in the building. And then my buddy gave a fake name, and he saw registered sex offender on the list, on the sign-in sheet. And now this guy is going around saying that he's not allowing registered sex offenders in the building. And then, lo and behold, when we go outside to the back smoking area, this place is the most sketched out place ever, by the way.
What one of the biggest problems
we go outside to the smoking area, and out comes the registered sex offender. And there was families inside the place.
Yeah,
and when we confront him about this, the guy's just like, oh, there's no way to tell. And that's bullshit. And we told him, like, you didn't, like, check our ID. And he said, well, there's no guarantee that somebody that's on that list is going to give up their real name. And I said, yep, the guy did. Like, all you would have had to do is type his name into Google.
There's a freaking
and all three
picture.
names show up, you know, first, middle, last. That doesn't really look good on Google when Google knows all three of your names. It means usually that you're a sex offender.
One of the biggest problems with the shelter is that it houses, I think, about 33 people. And in this shelter, we have active drug users. We have people that are in recovery, possible sex offenders, possible violent criminals, people from out of the area that we have no idea how to, you know, tell who they are, and women and children, all in one little place.
With one volunteer.
They have more than one volunteer. But what I'm saying is, it's a powder keg.
And the dude that he's just like making hand over fist in grant money. He's just stealing grant money and running a flop house is what it is. I mean, they don't even allow food donations. I try to take them food, and they're like, oh, we can't take your food donations because of it's a bullshit health code law. And I'm like, really? The only fucking rule that you're going to make me follow is the one where it says, like, you can't feed people? I'll come and fucking feed them anyways. And I just went in the parking lot and I fed them anyways. And I don't even fucking worry about somebody showing up and telling me not to feed the fucking homeless.
They get money to feed them.
Let me ask you this. What's your solution?
We went to the city council. We got a bunch of citizens. We represented a group of 25 citizens, and we went to the Kessel City Council, and we asked that we felt that the county commissioners and the city of Kelso needed to work work together to come to a solution in this, because they are the ones that caused this problem, part of holding government accountable. So we asked them to write a letter to the county commissioners to come to a solution, put barriers in place at the shelter, and the barriers that we asked were the same barriers the police department is asking for, which is no registered sex offenders. They would really like people to be local, no drug use.
It's, for the most part, it's the same barriers that the other shelter in town has that's really good, which is, well, Community House on Broadway. That place, like,
they have
They try.
Right. This
place just like let all the vagrants in the area, because this dude went on the Coin 6 News, which is a big news station down in Portland, and like told everybody in the general region that this is where you go if you're an IV drug user or a sex offender. This is the homeless shelter for you. And like, we literally have people showing up from Alaska, from Montana, freaking. That's our filing fees when you buy property shouldn't be going to house some dude from Alaska that's got some kind of junk problem.
Here's the biggest
issue. Just doesn't really want to take some personal responsibility. Like, go do smack. Don't take my money to get a flop house, but you're smack.
You guys, this shelter.
I know plenty of people that are successful drug users, you know? There's no reason.
Michael, the biggest problem with this shelter is that it sits between 2 daycare centers, 3 churches, our county administration building where people come in and out to do business all the time, and a historic neighborhood with the retired old people who are now afraid to come out of their homes. Our commissioners will not do anything to put any barriers in place in this shelter. They won't do anything. They haven't acted. The city of Kelso acted because we went from, our citizen group, by the way, is up to like almost 200 citizens now. So, you know, the city of Kelso did what we asked them to do. We got citizens involved. We used fax. We used records requests. We spoke to leadership, spoke to the fire department, the prosecutor's office. I mean, we spoke to everybody that we needed to talk to. So we have a good idea of what's going on in the shelter with the arrest records, and it's not safe.
The solution is that you're probably thinking of is where the homeless people are going to end up once we shut the shelter down, which is a problem because you're going to have all these homeless people that have a place to go now, and then they won't. And that is a problem. But here's where the problem with keeping it open is that there's no rules that they, and there's nobody that's acting responsibly with the no rules thing. They just constantly go around and victimize others. And there's nobody there, like, for instance, somebody went up and randomly finger banged a chick while she was trying to make the top ramen.
What?
Yeah, this isn't the
She
police
decided
report.
to let it go just because she knew that he had mental disease. And he did it, like, he had done it previously, and the place that decided to, like, let him stay. And then came back and did it 5 minutes later. Somebody else saw that, and they ended up calling the police. And the problem is, with this, is that, like, they told them, you need to kick this guy out of here, because you got all these people in here. You can't have this dude that's running around randomly finger-banging chicks. You know? You can't live in this place. And the police have had to deal with that guy several times, because they're just, they keep letting him in. And that's a complete lack of leadership.
That's
what that is right there.
randomly just jams.
You know, that's just one of the police reports. Like, I'll eventually, like, read that specific.
That is absolutely horrible.
I have read the specific police report.
You know, there's
Two.
worse. There's worse. There's a whole bunch of them that live around the water park area over by Catlin.
That's icky.
Yeah, it's icky. And not only that, but there's been a couple times already this summer, parents have been reporting guys sitting around on the benches with cameras taking pictures again. So you just kind of got to watch out where you take your kids.
Yeah, we have a lot of. What is it? We have a lot of
There's
services here in this county. Like
Our county
Yeah.
does a lot of seeking out of services. We have a really, really high population of sex offenders in our area. And after learning how our local government works, we actually seek out the money to bring these...
no, not we. They.
Okay. They
The government.
seek out this money for case management and stuff like that to bring these guys here. I mean, we have a ridiculous amount of sex offenders in our area for our population.
Thanks, government.
Yeah, thank you, government.
They get out of prison and they come to fucking Cowlitz County because there's services for them
Right.
all over the place.
Yeah.
There's like all these offender housing, which are just run by basically fascist slumlords that are finding places
Or other
to get their
offenders.
fucking rent paid by the state.
I'm rehabilitated.
Sex
Bring over
offenders.
your kids.
It's so bad that
It's horrible.
Representative Pike had a new driver bill that you put in the back. You know, she wanted everybody under the age of 18 and new drivers to have to put a big old red tag in your back window saying, you know, take advantage of me. So
That's basically
right
what the
next to
message
Cowlitz
was.
County, you know, where we have this high, offender population. But that bill didn't make it through this year, and I hope it doesn't surface next year either.
So,
That's a bad idea.
do we have any questions from the internet, from Facebook?
No, we asked them all already.
Oh, we asked them
I'll
already?
ask if there's any more. Hey, Michael, will we have any candidates at the state level in 2016?
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, the list that I have so far, we've got 33 candidates running at the state level. I haven't done any more recruiting yet, but I will do more recruiting for 2016 come the fall. So 2016 is going to be a big year for the Libertarian Party of Washington. We need to get a minimum of 5% of the vote in the presidential election to become a major political party. Now, there was big pushback back in 2014 from the old leadership on becoming a major political party because that means we have to have the PCO structure. We've got to adopt that. But this is the thing. That's where we're headed. We need to become a major political party. And I believe the only way we can get running for all the state executive positions, which there's 9 of. So if we fill those 9 state executive slots, and we have a presidential and vice presidential candidate, that means we'll have 10 libertarians on every Washingtonian ballot in the entire state. Every voter in Washington will have 10 libertarians they can vote for, right? And then add on top of it state legislative, state senate. So I know Stephen Nielsen, our new chairman, has a goal of having over 100 libertarian candidates in 2016, which I totally support, and I'm going to do my best to try to get us there, right? The cool thing about our candidates running this year is that I didn't recruit them. Most of them I did not recruit. The people are going out there just like you are, Curtis, and recruiting other people to run for office and to step up. And I think the same thing is going to happen in 2016. We're going to go with our foundation, our base that we have now, and more people are going to step up to the plate and run for office. So 2016 is going to be a very big year for us. If we can have, as many candidates running for office as the Republicans or the Democrats, we are a major political party, hands down. There will be no denying it at that point.
Yeah, I know one of the reasons why I started, the county party here in Cowlitz County is because that's the dang.
Yeah.
So I asked permission, can I just start a county party? And then Zach specifically told me you don't fucking need permission. And
yeah, Zach's a great guy. He's our vice chairman. Exactly. You don't need permission, just go do it.
So, here's a question from the internet. What do you think about the
Olympia? What do you think? What do you think about the Olympia Pride event, the incident that happened this weekend? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about what happened and what happened to the people that were at this event.
Yeah, I look at it as typical authoritarian.
Well, maybe everybody what happened. It was a gay pride event up in Olympia, and we had some Second Amendment open carry folks that were gay members of this group, and they were thrown out.
No, we specifically got the Libertarian Party banned for life.
Right.
Because
from the event,
you might be carrying a gun.
But they were thrown out of the event because they were doing something that is absolutely 100% legal in Washington State, which is open carry. And they threw them out of the event. So basically, how do you feel about that? How would the Libertarian Party, what would their view be on something like that?
Well, we got banned for life. What do you fucking think?
No. I'm asking C. Michael Pickens, what his opinion of this is and what the party, what their stance would be on something like this.
All right, go.
No, that goes back to what I said earlier, man. The Democrats, they agree with us on some liberties. The Republicans agree with us on some liberties. But both of them agree that we should only have some liberties some of the time. And the Libertarian Party believes all liberties for everyone all of the time. And the thing with that specifically is that there have been historically so many crimes committed against homosexuals, the LGBT community. They should be protecting themselves with a firearm. They should be protecting themselves from discrimination, and the only way to do that is by carrying a firearm to protect themselves. And then for their own community, for the open carry members who were in the LGBT community, for their own LGBT community there in Olympia, to kick them out, it just doesn't make any sense. However, when you look at the person who kicked them out, there was really only one person who made the decision, and that was the chairperson for Olympia Pride. Right? And the chairperson for Olympia Pride has ties to the Democrat Party. In her letter, seeing her reasons why that she kicked them out was because of this most recent South Carolina shooting right at the church, the 9 church members who were killed, saying that these open carry members were being insensitive to the South Carolina church shooting. Well, guess what? There were 80 of the members of the church who were carrying a weapon, who had a firearm on them. I believe that guy, that crazy person, psychopath who did that, would have been stopped a lot quicker, but there was no one there.
Yeah, I don't understand what some psychopath's total lack of
it's crazy
respect for human life has to do
Curtis and I went to the rally, you know, Olympia that they had this. The Pink Pistols were there, and I don't know if you know what the Pink Pistols are, but they're a group out of Seattle, and they're, you know, they're a gun group. So, I mean, would they throw those people out of this rally as well? I mean, these guys have been around for a while, to the point where they were actually at Olympia speaking at the rally. So, you know, how can the people, you know, people that have been fighting for so long against discriminate against their own people in such a way for something that they can legally do?
Thanks, authoritarians.
The thing that is so ironic about it is that our first presidential candidate in 1972 was an openly gay man for the Libertarian Party. Supporting gay rights since our inception, since the party formed, the Democrats didn't add it to their platform until 2012. And they're kicking us out. It just doesn't make any sense.
So we had another question for you. It actually comes from one of the Libertarian candidates in our area, Kilborn Kunst. He wants to know if you have any advice for a first-time candidate.
My advice for a first-time candidate is to make a lot of mistakes. So go out there, talk to your local newspapers, go out in the community, just try to figure out what works, and then do some research as well. Also, you're definitely going to need some raise money, recruit, and you got to learn how to inspire and motivate. Learn how to share your vision and your why people should support you and help your campaign. Once they understand your why, they're going to jump on board. So that's my advice.
You got anything else?
Somebody said nice weed hits, but I don't think they were right about that. But anyway.
That's you, probably.
No, I don't have, if there's any more questions or anything else. You know,
I think it's time to go to a break.
yeah.
That's what you do.
Okay.
Thank you for calling in, Sue Michael Pickens. You are inspiration. About the younger people and getting younger people involved. Any inspiration out there to the younger people to try to get them involved? I mean, we don't have a lot of young voters.
Hey, man, you look at the recent Reuters polls, it shows that 1/3 of younger people actually identify as libertarians. And, you know, I give major props to two organizations, Young Americans for Liberty and Students for Liberty, who are at, I think Students for Liberty has over 1,700 student groups now at high schools and colleges around the country, like introducing the philosophy of liberty to younger people. And, you know, I'm only 30, so I think I can fall kind of in that category of younger people. I believe that we are the future. Libertarianism is the future because the philosophy of liberty is a philosophy of optimism. It's a philosophy of opportunity. And as younger people realize that their opportunity is not the same opportunity that's been here 50 years ago, as they realize this, they're going to start fighting against it. And we have to get people, the younger people, to realize that, hey, your future is being threatened right now by authoritarianism, by abusive government, by coercion and force and fraud implemented by the government, with the corporations involved as well, with the unions involved as well. And we have to wake up to that, and that's how we do it. We tell them that their future, that their children, they don't exist yet. Their future is being threatened. And we have to stand up, and the majority will eventually, we will eventually become the majority. I'm making that prediction. I see it now. I see how fast we're growing across the country when I travel around the country. And I just see that's the direction that we're going. Democrats are old and dying. Republicans are old and dying. Libertarianism is the future. You come to our convention, and there's a lot more young people than at the Democrat convention or the Republican convention. I see us making huge inroads, and we just have to wake them up and show them why they should be libertarian and how their future is being threatened.
Now we can go to music.
Why not?
You nailed it.
Thank you guys so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be your first guest for your show. You guys have a great rest of your show.
Hey, we have another question from the internet. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, it says,
Do you have time for one more?
shut up. As far as the preamble to the Constitution, when it says to promote general welfare, what does that mean to you?
Constitution where we have to support general welfare and what does it mean to me? Wow, that's a really good question. So, promoting general welfare, I think with the way our government has been implementing laws and regulations, they've actually increased the amount of people who need welfare. They've put more people in poverty than we've had in the past. And if they continue to basically oppress people, right? If you want to start a business, you have to pay $500 to the state just to start your business. If this business is going to go in other states, you've got to pay other states to operate your business. Well, guess what? If you have a great idea, but you don't have the capital, you can't start your business, and you can't become financially independent, you can't pull yourself up from poverty, right? So the Democrats and the Republicans, too, to some extent, promote the welfare state. Right? You need the government to move along. And you know what? I like to call myself a pragmatic radical libertarian. So I believe, yeah, there is a purpose, there is a need to support people who can't support themselves. Right? We shouldn't let people die in the street. We should not do that. Right? But we shouldn't sacrifice our ability to thrive at the same time. We shouldn't sacrifice our ability to start our own business at the same time. Or we shouldn't sacrifice our ability to pay our own bills at the same time. So I hope I answered that. Probably not, but...
Well, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, this is Radioactive Rock coming to you live. And these guys are...
This is Jordan Page, and this song's called Liberty.
Oh, who are you?
Wow, this is... Just go to the song.
It can't go to that one. It doesn't. Yeah.
Huh?
We do this, and we're still live.
Okay.
We are.
KRAP 107.9 FM, back off the air and back onto the internet. Well, we're doing some things in here that we probably shouldn't be doing, like normal. Typing away on the computer and looking at internet porn, which for us is pretty much schematics and dirt.
We got about 10 minutes
flowers.
left. What's going on here in Cowles County? What's going on tomorrow? Anything going on interesting tomorrow, Chris?
Well, I heard that there's rumor of a court date tomorrow for a little overwhelming. Kelso Police Department sent them a letter saying that they had to abate the drug nuisance, and they have to respond to that letter tomorrow.
Oh boy!
1:30 p.m. in Superior Court. They're asking for a restraining order and a few other things. So I believe I will be going to see what will be coming of this. I don't know if Curtis is going to be able to make it tomorrow night. Then tomorrow night, we also have the State of the Union address for Cowles County, the State of the County address
I
at
can't
LCC.
go to that.
Oh,
Why can't you go to that one?
Because I'm going camping tomorrow. So.
You need to send somebody in there with a cell phone to record all of it. And
well, I'll be going
broadcast.
there.
It'll probably be on KLTV.
Which one?
The State of the County.
Oh, yeah.
We'll cover that shit.
Yeah, I think we have a couple candidates going and stuff like that. They'll be talking about businesses and stuff like that in Cowles County, and I think the direction that we'll be going. So yeah, the RSVP for that, and we can do that by calling the Longview Chamber of Commerce, and they'll give you some seats for that. It doesn't cost anything, and you might learn something. So, are you going to that one?
The thing tomorrow night?
Yeah.
No, I said that.
Oh.
That's the thing I'm not going to.
How about the cookie?
I might. I don't know.
Come on. You gotta make plans.
My wife's waiting for me tomorrow, so
Oh, okay.
that really won't work. Well, it might. I'll just text her and find out.
So do you have any guests lined up for next week?
Lined up? No, but I'm sure I can find one.
Okay.
And probably I'm going to ask James Holcomb.
Get a magician.
A magician.
Ask James.
Yeah, on radio
When James
land.
hears that after the delay, he'll
How about
answer.
that, James?
So-
Do you want to be our guest next week?
Only if he's a magician.
He's actually one of the libertarians that got banned for life from the Pride.
Yeah, he is one of the guys that was banned for life from the Pride thing.
Just for being in the Libertarian Party. That's
well,
what it was. He wasn't with, no, that was a separate issue.
Oh, he got banned.
And we'll have him on here and he'll talk about it. The story was featured on The Blaze.
Yeah, The Blaze,
so
yeah.
If they haven't had.
So maybe we'll be able to get him next week. Maybe we'll get one of our local candidates to come on as well, if they have time. I know that they're busy campaigning, trying to enact change. We have Adina Grigsby is also running for city council. In Kessel, she is running as an independent.
Everybody can't run as what they want for city council because it's a quote-unquote nonpartisan position, which is complete malarkey. But the whole idea that you got to run as a nonpartisan.
We finally got some malarkey. I love the malarkey. So Adina, she's got, I think, a three-way race going on. She's running against a lady by the name of Nancy Malone. Nancy Malone used to work for the city of Kelso, and some feel that she didn't do a very good job.
Yeah, she don't work there now, so I'm going to tell you that.
Anyway, Nancy, you know,
I really don't know nothing about the lady, but I would vote for Adina just because I'm going to.
Well, you know, I can tell you a little bit about the Nancy lady, but, you know, she has a long history with Chuck Hendrickson over at Love Overwhelming. So they go way back to, I think, 2013. And so I imagine that, you know, she was part of that homeless plan.
It looks super good, like when you have on your resume, like, look at the big dope shelter that I stuck in the middle of the town. And just like give all this unneeded praise to the dude that runs the place. It's just running.
My point is in our election, you have Nancy Malone.
This is the county. I'm sure did the county get a kickback for handling the
No, wait a minute here.
I'm sure it does.
Let's talk about the candidates here. Because Nancy, she would be a supporter of the shelter and bringing more services like that here. Where Adina has been educating the public for almost probably, what, a year and a half on the shelter, and, you know, she's been active in the city council, you know, talking to them, trying to prevent the shelter, or at least put barriers in place before it came in.
I know, before...
She's actually looking out for the citizens of the area, where Nancy Malone will probably promote the shelter and you know, continue on down the same style of stuff.
I don't know how long you could promote something that was pretty much an awful idea straight out the gate.
Well, you can't
wasn't ran properly.
Like this without any rules.
Like,
you have to have rules in place. You have to have structure and rules, and there's no rules when you have no rules.
They come at everybody, they're like, we're going to make some changes, and then, like, you could just do a simple public records request and, like, look at the police reports that the changes ain't being made because the same people are being allowed back into the building that doesn't really follow their good neighbor policy, which states that you got to be not scuzzy, pretty much, within a 5-block radius of the shelter. And that's just like they break that so much, you shouldn't ever see anybody all junked out laying on the court steps of the county administration building, because it's just not something you should be seeing, because it's not 5 blocks away, it's right next door.
Yeah.
And so, like, if they were following that whole good neighbor policy to begin with, if they, like, sold the city council, then that wouldn't even be a thing. But it's totally a thing.
Okay, I know this is going to sound all crazy, but since you guys are the whole libertarians and I'm the whole pirate, why can't we just put a large set of walls around that place so I'm roam freely in
Because
there?
they allow kids in that place and families.
Well, first of all,
that's why.
First of all,
they need to split them apart.
First of all, no, wait a minute. First of all, this is public money, and when you use public money, there has to be accountability, and there has to be rules in place. Right now, they're using the public money, and they're letting people just do whatever they want.
Pretty much, and they're giving them shitty meals and saying that
you know, there's so many other issues with the shelter. It's just not the fact that we're housing all these people, but we have a shelter that houses 33 people. They have problems with hot water sometimes. They have to take the burners out of the stove. They don't have a commercial kitchen, so they can't really feed the 33 people that they house there. They're in the wrong building, definitely the wrong location. Nobody says that we don't want to help these people. We want to help them the right way. Right now, they are not being helped. I mean, they're being enabled.
To be put in the right location. location, so they did the next best thing. They put themselves in an area where they would cause a lot of ruckus, so they would be granted the money
Yeah, because
to
this
go to the
solution's all
next
include
level up.
asking for
Right.
more
Think
grant
about
money.
it.
Yeah, we already know they're gonna give them more money.
Term.
I know,
By the way, I've asked all,
And
two of the county commissioners not to give them any more money. We've taken citizens in and talked to our county commissioners about this situation. Citizens that live in the neighborhood,
Yeah,
people
like
right across the street.
tax-paying voters.
They, we took one lady. She's a retired person. She's a 35-year retiree. She was a probation officer, so she's hard-assed. She dealt with this type of stuff all along. She went in front of one of our commissioners and told her that the people in the neighborhood are afraid to come out of their homes. They're afraid to go out and walk their dogs. That when they do decide to come out, the people from the shelter treat them terrible. You've got people with severe mental health disorders in that shelter, and I don't feel that they have the appropriate training and staff in that place to deal with some of these people. I mean, when we were doing protesting outside the county building, Curtis read the city of Kelso's letter to the county commissioners when we protested that. We actually had people that came down from the shelter and talked to us about it. Nothing's changed. They need more money, of course, to change anything.
They say that they need money to
It's not
check
money,
ID.
it's time and hands. You need time and hands.
But
those hands have time, then you can get anything you need done.
right, but the biggest issue is the wrong location, because you can't do this between daycare
It's not the
centers
biggest issue,
and
in my
churches.
No.
Well,
In my
accountability of the
opinion,
people's
it was
money.
an awful idea straight out the gate.
It's a social
Being
experiment that's not
ran
working.
They
by
did it on
a guy
purpose.
that just he must suck because this idea sucks. Like I know at work I'm a cook, and sometimes I make sauces and sometimes I make soups and it doesn't work out, and it sucks and there's nothing you can do to add to the pot to make it better except for throw it all out and start over with a better recipe. And that's exactly what needs to be done there. I mean, when we were there, the Daily News took it upon themselves to cover the story about people covering up a bunch of weeds outside and laying some brick and mortar down and saying oh, they're fixing it up. And the whole thing is a complete metaphor for how the whole place is being ran. Like I've watched them take a bunch of bark dust and throw it over a bunch of weeds that were literally knee-high. That doesn't kill any of the problem. That doesn't fix the problem. The problem is the weeds. You need to cool the weeds out.
Now check this
And all
out.
you did was throw a bunch of bark dust down.
At the shelter, when they threw the bark
metaphor.
dust down, people inside the shelter didn't help throw the bark dust down. The guys that facilitate the place didn't throw the bark dust down. They went out in the community and they got volunteers to throw the bark dust down. For some reason, those people that are sitting around the county building and in the shelter all day long, and Chuck and Caleb, those guys, I guess they cannot weed or clean the side of the building or do anything like that
Not
during the day.
one of them picked up a fucking shovel.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I saw the volunteers doing it. I saw people from, these guys, I mean,
it's a metaphor.
how hard is it to get these guys out there?
Whole thing's a
Get off
metaphor.
your ass and quit
It's a big
being lazy.
metaphor of a
There's
malarkey.
no rules.
You
There's
wonder
no
why people are
structure.
coming into
There's no-
America and
yes,
taking our
they do help
jobs.
people.
Get off your fucking ass. I'm going to drink another Red
I know
Bull.
it sounds
And sit
horrible.
here. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? Drink another Red Bull. Oh, let's do something. Hey, let's drink another Red Bull. And sit here. Want to play Mortal Kombat? Yeah. Oh, man, get off your ass and get a job.
Oh, that's 10.
Music.
Fill the time slot. High five. So, we'll be back next Wednesday with somebody. So, more than likely, hopefully James Holcomb, that's who I'm thinking there, but
I wonder if
did he respond?
we could always try for a local guy too,
We can.
a local politician, but I doubt
Or-
that would happen.
Kilburn Coons is a local politician.
Yes,
And a good
Kilburn
friend of mine
Coons, yes.
that I've known most of my life. So, we'll probably have him on if he wants to. We'll have him with us. He won't be a caller, so we can take calls. That'll be interesting. So, have you killed this mic yet? Are we still hot?
We're still hot. Oh, we
right.
just keep on rambling for a second.
Well,
Say bye-bye to the pretty people out there in La La Land.
Good night.
Bye-bye, pretty people. Have fun.
peace out.
Liberty.
Because
Freedom.
liberty.
people. Have fun.
Peace out.
Liberty.
Because
Freedom.
of liberty.
You listen to the radio again? Sounds like crap.
Sorry, long you, Kelso, and in your anus.